So there are 5 strategies that I utilize early on in my career to become a thought leader. And the first one is forging your own path. And so in the early days of my career, I was working on President Obama's Connect Home initiative within the Cuyahoga Metropolitan Housing Authority. And we didn't have much direction beyond a pretty provocative brand that we could leverage local funding, local support. And in forging our own path, we were able to create not only initiatives and programs within the Housing Authority that reverberated throughout the city of Cleveland. And so forging your own path when the path isn't clear is the #1 thing that I would say would help distinguish a thought leader early on. The second tip I'd highlight is don't ask for permission to be disruptive. When I was working at the World's First Community Foundation and the Cleveland Foundation, there was oftentimes perceived red tape, perceived things that we shouldn't do or couldn't do. And after a while, we stopped asking for permission and began delivering results and began executing. And so the second tip I'd highlight is don't ask for permission to be disruptive. The third tip I would highlight is to be bold. In January of 2020, right before the pandemic, I'd received a call from the U.S. House of Representatives to testify in front of Congress. And all the elements of imposter syndrome and fear and just the fear of messing up were absolutely present. But there was a boldness to, one, not only believing in myself, but also believing in the ability to influence change at a higher level well beyond my perceived capacity. And that boldness is the same boldness that I carry today in other ventures. And so if you're going to be a thought leader, you absolutely do need to be bold. The fourth tip, and this one is one that I would think absolutely should stand out much more than even the other ones, is to fight for what's right. Oftentimes, when you are on your trajectory of becoming a thought leader, you're making great friendships, you have great relationships that are being built, but over time, that's going to get challenged, especially when there's an opportunity to do the right thing. When I was working for the mayor in the city of Detroit, we had faced a 45-day internet outage from one of our partners, and publicly calling out that partner because it was a public crisis. Obviously, during the pandemic and even before then and absolutely now, internet has been a fundamental right to access to information. And so for the neighborhood that went 45 days without it, calling them out publicly was something that put a lot of my credibility on the line, as well as the mayor's office, and being able to shed light on a very important issue, not only to put me, and by nature our office, into a unique position where then people began looking at us as the advocates, the people's champion, if you will. And I would say that if you are going to embark on your journey as a thought leader, you can't be afraid to, one, upset the status quo. You can't be afraid to make people mad, and you can't be afraid that when something is going wrong, to call people out for that. Fifth piece of advice, and arguably the biggest one, is to surround yourself with incredible people. In my journey, in my career as becoming a thought leader and having an accelerated trajectory in doing so, I only did so because of the people that were around me. People that I trusted, people who were smarter than me, people who cared more than me, and people who saw opportunities that I didn't see. And so the journey of becoming a thought leader isn't a journey by yourself. It's not a solo quest, if you will. It is meant to be something where you're representing the best and brightest of not only yourself, but those around you. And if you're able to confide in and building a strong foundation with people who love you, who trust you, who care about the things you care about, then you absolutely will excel at being a thought leader.